Hey guys, welcome back to another top 5 tips, and today we're going to talk about priorities for the current patch of Dota 2. This is perfect for people who are trying to learn and also a good refresh on what you think you know about the game. Without further ado, let's get into action. Lotus Orb. The earliest timing for an objective is found 3 minutes into the laning state. But this item is very important and proves time and time again on how it can either turn the tide on the enemy when they decide to jump you, or can even be a tool to outplay the enemy in the later stages in the game. So usually one of these two situations will happen. The first is you are either busy harassing the enemy and you or your support forget the existence of the Lotus. This is a common mistake, as a lot of players either underestimate the power of the Lotus or just doesn't know the existence of it, which is why if you aren't already aware of how important this is, you learn something new today. And for the second situation I mentioned, this is on a more advanced scale on the laning situation. A lot of supports will actually make this play of pulling the creeps first and then heading to the Lotus, but by then they actually won't make it in time anymore, which is why if you're playing core, it would always feel annoying when the enemy gets the Lotus uncontested. But this only applies if the current lane is on a 50-50, as whichever team that grabs the Lotus will eventually have a lead with such a big healing item. So pulling or stacking the lane is not a bad thing if you are a little behind. Up next, we're going to talk about the magic number on the 45-second mark. I mentioned it in previous videos, but this is definitely one of the key components if you are playing a support and are trying to find the definition of rotation. To sum it up quickly, if you rotate at the 45-second mark, you will most likely be on time to either secure or fight for the power rune with your mid lane. And if you are playing carry, you can also team up with your position 5 to jump the enemy offlaner, as most of the position 4 heroes will be absent from the lane at that time. So keep an eye out when 45 seconds arrives. One of the most OP rune of the game currently is the Wisdom rune. It is a replacement for the Tome of Knowledge that used to be in the game and can be bought from the store. But right now, the new patch forces you to work for it, as you have to run to a specific spot that spawns it. Around the same time on the 6-minute 40-second mark will be the best time to run to secure your own Wisdom rune. And it can also be served on the opposite way to steal the enemy Wisdom rune as well. Having taken the rune will give you a huge lead in XP and actually determines which team's support will reach level 6 first, as it will give you a huge boost in surprising and killing the enemy cores. So don't forget to always contest for it. Have anyone ever taught you how and when to destroy towers? Or do you just go with the flow if your team is there, and if they're not, then you do whatever the hell you want? Well, fear no more, cause I'm about to reveal it to you. Don't think too much and just follow this simplified rule. For starters, the first tower that should always be taken down is the enemy safe lane tower, and the second target should most likely be the mid tier 1 tower. One thing you should know is that never ever go for the offlane tier 1 tower as your first objective, as it is the worst and hardest tower to get. Reason being that in this current patch, the offlaners are most likely to hit their level 6 first ahead of the enemy carry, and having that level 6 boost can bring them huge advantages into diving tier 1 towers later on. And knowing that the offlane is strong, supports will start to creep to your lane just to further secure the objective, which is the common scenario for most carries' death. Sounds complicated? Well, every time you play a game of Dota, just keep a mental note that your first tower should always be the enemy safe lane tier 1, into then the mid tier 1 tower, and then the offlane tier 1 tower. To know more about how to get the tier 2 and tier 3 towers, I will make a more specific video about it later on in the future. Lastly, we have vision. A lot of problem when I see the lower rank or even to immortal players lose a team fight, they usually just say unlucky or the enemy played good. But that's because they do not know the secret sauce. What is that, you ask? It's actually very simple, as from the scene of Star Wars. Obi-Wan was actually right, as you actually hugely boost the way you win your team fight when you fight on places with wards or high ground vision. Having the high ground visions allow your teammate with important jumps or huge one-time damages like Lion to kill the target they need that is probably hiding in the backlines. This will always benefit your support, as they will know how to position themselves and play the formation needed to obliterate the team fights. Personally, I always keep a mental note of telling myself that we have to fight near vision or fight near high ground, as that will hugely boost our win rate. If you have any questions about these tips, comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!